I'm Trevor. This is Matt.
Hi.
I'm here with Ron Carter. He served as councilman for 24 years. He's currently the president of the Farmers Market, and he moved to Carmel in 1987 and he's a very long-time resident. We're pleased to have him here for our first in-person interview. This is What's Up Carmel.
Well, Trevor, I'm glad you didn't say he's one of our oldest residents. I appreciate that very much. So, Matt, it's nice to be with both of you today. I've been looking forward to this. I appreciate the Carmel Mayor's Youth Council and all that the members of the Youth Council have done over time. So that's just great. So, well, tell me what you want me to talk about today.
Well, we're going to be all over the place,
Okay.
ranging from some of your first initiatives to what are some of your hobbies you like to do today. So
Okay.
just want to let the city of Carmel get to know you a little bit more.
All right, so just to start it off, I just mentioned you moved here in 1987.
That's correct.
What attracted you and your wife to move to Carmel? Start with.
It was interesting from the standpoint that I grew up on the west side of Indianapolis. I grew up in Speedway, and we had lived in Chicago for 5 years and then lived in North Carolina for 10 years. So coming back here, we didn't really know where we wanted to move. Mm-hmm. However, some people who had been very, very dear friends of ours in High Point, North Carolina, had been transferred to Indianapolis a couple of years before we were ready to move back. And they moved to Carmel. And when they knew we were coming back, they said, oh, no place else you could go but Carmel. And so that's how we got here to Carmel. Was they insisted that this was the best place to live in all of central Indiana. And even at that time, and that was back in 1986 when they told us that. So with that said, we moved here and we've never regretted it. It's been a wonderful place to live. And the time I spent on city council was something that I will always treasure. It's been an opportunity to do a lot of really great things. People have asked me in the past, well, why do you do this? Right. And I think from one standpoint, it's an easy and great place to volunteer, and city council really is a volunteer activity. Even though the city councilors do get paid, it's a volunteer activity in many respects. So it's just been it's been good. It really has.
Well, we appreciate everything you've done. So furthermore, I have to look at my notes here. You've done so much for the city. But what made you want to become a founding member of the Hamilton County Alternative Transportation Task Force and a founding member of the Monon Greenway Committee?
Well, that kind of started things off for me as far as working within the community. And the Hamilton County Alternative Transportation Task Force was a group that was set up by the Hamilton County Plan Commission to look at all of the places where people rode their bikes a lot and officially get those mapped. So that when the county, it was very forward thinking. So when the county got expanded, when a lot of development took place, those bike routes that people, or kind of organic bike routes, those would be mapped and would become part of the thoroughfare plan.
Okay.
And so I was asked to be on that. It was a large committee of like 65 people.
Right.
Well, those of us who were interested in bicycling and had done a lot of bicycling were the primary members of that committee. And I met a number of people there who were from Carmel and had an interest in the Monon. And I had been involved a little bit with rail trails when we were in North Carolina. So that was how I got involved then with the Monon Greenway Committee, which was set up, frankly, because no one in city government was hearing the committee and those who were advocates for this becoming a rail trail.
Right.
And so this, in effect, was a lobbying group, was an advocacy group for this to become what it is today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, on a side note, what's your favorite bike trail? Or do you have one?
I have to say the Monon. First.
Of course.
Another trail that I really, really like in the community is the Hagenberg Trail.
Okay.
It was kind of a hidden gem. And it was an indication of how the city was cooperating with the bicycling community, because that was the right-of-way for a sewage line.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And one of the things we'd advocated was, hey, you got these underground pipelines,
Yeah.
whether they're water or whether they're sewage or whatever, pave them over. You got to maintain them anyway. Pave
Yeah.
that over so that it becomes a trail. Probably one of my most favorite trails outside of this area is the C&O Canal Towpath, which runs from Cumberland, Maryland to Georgetown in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
It's a great ride. It's 187 miles.
Oh, wow.
And another trail that we like a great deal is what's called the Virginia Creeper Trail. Runs right through the center of Damascus, Virginia.
Okay.
And it crosses 100 bridges in 17 miles.
Wow.
In the mountains of western Virginia and in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And so it's a great trail to ride. So those are some of the trails I really like.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Wish I get on my bike a little bit more.
Probably should.
Yeah.
But on another note, what were some of your favorite hobbies? What were some of your favorite hobbies? That's all right.
No worries. No worries.
That's all right. So what were some of your favorite hobbies growing up?
Well, I grew up, as I said, in Speedway. And
Yeah.
if you're a kid in Speedway, bike riding certainly. And then when you get a little older, like when I got to be 14, I was able to get a work permit and start to work at the Speedway. And for those of us who worked there, which was about 40 high school kids, that was fun. It was a hobby. It was also a source of money at $1 an hour.
Yeah.
So that was the minimum wage, and we were getting $1 an hour. So
That's a lot of fun. I think that'd be a really interesting job. What kind of stuff did you have to do there?
we would hand sickle weeds. We would
Wow.
Yeah, we would set the chairs up. The 4 qualifications.
Yeah.
There were about 100,000 chairs to be set up
my
and
God.
cleaned.
I couldn't.
We did a lot of things that finally culminated in on race day.
Yeah.
We were assigned, at that time period, to cleaning up the track if there was an accident. Now picture this, 16-year-old kids out on the track with brooms sweeping up debris.
That sounds. I mean, personally, that sounds awesome, but I was not there, and it's probably not too safe. So.
It's since gone by the boards.
Yeah,
It really has.
Yeah.
But I also liked to play golf at the time. And,
Oh, yeah.
And so there were some other things that I enjoyed.
Yeah, we were actually fortunate enough to play the Brickyard course this summer.
We were,
That is
yeah.
an incredible course.
Incredible course. Yeah.
Good.
Incredible.
There's one hole inside the track there that
It'll give you goosebumps. It's pretty cool.
it had me struggling.
That was one of the other things that the kids that worked at the track on qualification days
Yeah.
and race day, some of us got assigned the task of guarding the greens so that drunks wouldn't drive their cars across
right.
the greens and tear them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they used to let people park on there.
Yeah, they did. About 30,000 cars would park in the infield at that time.
Oh, wow.
So,
Well, I was wondering, could you take us through some of the history of the farmers market, and did you expect that it would grow to this magnitude?
well, the market was really an offshoot of the Monon
Yeah.
activity. One evening in council, we were having lots of opposition from a few people,
Yeah.
but very vocal people about establishing the Monon.
Yeah.
And so I had mentioned in council that I could recall a 4-page color spread that I had just seen recently in Southern Living magazine.
Okay.
It showed a community in southern Georgia with a lot of people around the town square, painted murals on the walls of buildings, a farmer's market, and a trail. And so that, I just mentioned that in the meeting, and I guess it was maybe 6 months later, I was working out in the yard and I got a call from a reporter for the Indianapolis Star. In all the years I'd been on council, we had like 20 reporters, this is an aside.
Yeah.
I had 20 different reporters, and only 2 of them had ever lived in Carmel. And this person happened to live in Carmel, and she
Yeah.
cared about the community, not just journalistically,
Sure.
but also from the standpoint of it was her city to live in.
Right.
And she said, I hear you're going to start a farmer's market. I said, I am. And she said, well, yeah. she said, you said that in council. Well, make a long story short, I said, well, I don't have time to do it, and I don't know anything about it. And she said, well, I could do a story and get some volunteers to help. And she did. And as a consequence of that story, we had 6 people who came to City Hall in 1998 and said they'd like to be on a founding committee for the farmers market.
Right.
And so that's how the market got started, was as an offshoot, really, of the rail trail.
Yeah.
And so the mayor also provided us with enough money to get a 3-ring binder
Okay.
for each of us that was aptly titled How to Start a Farmer's Market.
Yeah.
And that was before there was much in the way of capabilities on the internet.
Sure.
And so he gave us $150 out of the promotional fund to get 10 copies of it. And we did. And came back together a month and a half later, and the group said, yeah, we think we can do this. And so that's how the market started.
Wow.
The first year we had 8 full-time vendors.
Okay.
The second year we had 16. The third year we had 32. The fourth year we were up to about 40, and then we finally got to 48, and that
Yeah.
was in the south parking lot of City Hall.
Yeah.
And we outgrew
Yeah.
that space over a number of years. And 11 years ago, we moved to this space, which is specifically designed for the farmers market.
Oh my gosh.
With the capabilities of electricity at each vendor space,
Yeah.
water in all 4 quadrants of the market,
Walkways.
the walkways in the amphitheater.
Yeah.
Now it serves many purposes, but we had a lot of input as far
Sure.
as getting this done
Yeah.
to accommodate what we think is probably the best farmers market in the country.
I would agree with you. Absolutely. I mean, this is so popular. People love it. Work here is awesome. So.
Well, speaking of popularity, by the time this season is over, on the last Saturday of September, we will have had, we think, about 90,000 visitors to the market this summer.
Wow.
Wow, that's a lot of.
That's a yeah. Oh my goodness.
So,
amazing.
despite you being at the farmers market for every Saturday for nearly the last 20 years, do you have any moments that really stick out? You have a favorite moment by chance?
Or have you ever missed?
Oh yeah, I've missed. I think all the Saturdays have been great.
Yeah.
They've been really an outstanding time for our volunteers, our guests, and our vendors. I think probably one of my really good memories was last year for 4th of July.
Yeah.
We knew that people were down and depressed and were looking
Yeah.
for something to do, and we were the only thing standing.
Yeah.
All the other markets around had closed
Right.
or been closed by their communities. We're not part of the city of Carmel so
Yeah.
far as funding is concerned. We're a volunteer corporation.
Sure.
And so we were able to stay open the whole time.
Yeah.
And we decided to make it as fun as possible for
Yeah.
a lot of the kids that we knew would be here. So we had a parade, a kazoo parade for the kids,
Yeah.
where they march around, at least have that for 4th of July. We then had a stilt walker
Yeah.
in costume
Yeah.
of Uncle Sam. We had 2 mascots here walking around.
Yeah.
One with spokes.
Yeah.
And so it turned out to be a really, I think, fun time for not only the kids, but the parents.
Yeah, especially in such a crucial time. I mean, it was nice to have that outlet for a lot of the citizens in Carmel. It really was. So, yeah.
So, 2 years ago, the mayor renamed the farmers market area Carter Green. And you have something in Carmel named after you. Can you just explain, how big of an honor that is to you?
A great honor. I mean, really a great honor. And
Yeah.
I appreciated that the mayor did that
Yeah.
so much. I have to tell you, though, I'd still rather be on council than have this name. That was not to be. So
Yeah.
anyway, I appreciate very much what the mayor did. The
Yeah.
gesture was outstanding.
Yeah. Speaking of the mayor, I know you and the mayor had significant pushback regarding developing the Monon Trail. And can you kind of expand on why you thought that was so crucial and how you fought that pushback?
Well, I think because the mayor and I both had the vision that if the Monon was done,
Sure.
it would be a catalyst for development.
Yeah.
And as you can see all around here, it has been a catalyst for development.
Right.
It's now the heart of the community.
Exactly, yeah.
And so we also knew that we would not, take advantage of a very, very important feature that we could add to the community if we didn't make the Monon move from being a linear junkyard, which
Right.
it was, to an economic generator.
Exactly,
like this.
yeah. I mean, it's one in a million. And along with that, I know that you played a very crucial role in redeveloping Old Town into the Arts and Design District. Can you kind of expand on that? I mean, I think that personally, I love the Arts and Design District. It's amazing. One of my favorite parts of Carmel, so definitely have to hear.
When the mayor and I were both campaigning in 1995,
Yeah.
one of the things that he heard a lot, and I heard in a number of cases also, was where is the heart of Carmel?
Yeah.
Where is the area where if our kids come back, they're going to be able to say, you know, this is where we hung out. This is where we had really a lot of fun. This is where we made memories. We didn't have any place like that in Carmel.
Yeah.
The Main Street area was too small to become a real downtown.
Right.
And that's because of our Quaker origins, and we want a county seat also. So it was really too small to expand. So this was a 77-acre bean field in 1996.
Okay.
The mayor felt, though, that we could build a downtown for Carmel here in this space. But if we did that, then what do we do with the Main Street area?
Right.
There had to be a hook to continue the vitality and the viability of
Yeah.
Main Street and to increase it.
Yeah.
And so the hook was to make it an arts and design district.
Yeah.
So that's really now kind of uptown. This is midtown, and we're going to have a downtown shortly.
Yeah.
So that's how the Arts and Design District came about.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So along with several other initiatives you participated in, could you explain your role in the construction of the Central Park?
Well, you guys have done your research. I appreciate that.
There's more out there too. We couldn't fill it all in on this interview.
Judy Hagan and I guess were really pushing, along with Sue Dillon
Yeah.
and a number of other people in the community, to expand our parks area. We only had 24 acres of parks when the mayor and I came into office.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kept looking around for a place to have a central park. And we did find that space south of downtown, south of here.
Right.
Obviously, it's Central Park. And Judy Hagan and Sue Dillon and I walked the property and all 160 acres and determined that that would be a great place because of its central location.
Yeah.
And because of its proximity to, at that time, most of the population of Carmel.
Sure.
And so it just kind of fell into place that that could become, if we could get it from the property owner, and we negotiated with the property owner and got an equitable amount given to him and an equitable amount for the taxpayers of the city of Carmel to build that into Central Park. Mm-hmm. And it was an exciting time for the community. It really was an exciting time. It was an exciting time for me also to be able to be involved in putting together something that is as significant as Central Park is today for the city.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Carter, we know you're a very busy man. We want to just wrap this interview up. You've been a public servant for 24 years, which is amazing, and we thank you for that. And with that being said, what advice do you have for the youth of Carmel?
A couple things. One is that when you finish your education or finish your formal education.
Yeah.
And you look to where you're going to locate after that formal education. For so many years, all of our high school students were saying, boy, when I graduate, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not coming back. Well, one of our goals was to build a community where you folks would want to come back
Yeah.
and would want to locate, work, raise your families. And it's my hope that all of you will say, yeah, Carmel's where I want to live.
Yeah.
Even though I grew up there, this is where I want to live because
Yeah.
it's got some really, really neat things.
And yes, it does. And I'll tell you what, I'll be back. I'll be back. Well, Mr. Carter, thank you so much for your time. And thank you for our debut in-person interview.
Yeah, thank you
Very
so much.
excited.
Thank you, sir.
This
Yes.
is What's
I
Up
appreciate
Carmel, wrapping up our first in-person interview. Shout out Ron Carter. Come visit us at the Farmers Market.